So today is Sunday, April 5th, 2020, and the world is a very strange place right now. I have been social distancing, self-isolating in my tiny house for 3 weeks, and there have been some really interesting things that I have experienced that have surprised me. There's been some good, there's been some bad, and there's been some surprising things. So today I'm just going to discuss that, and it's going to be a quick video. Hello, Sophie. So in some ways it feels like nothing's changed. The world, as I see it when I look out my window, doesn't look different. I still see my neighbors coming in and out of their houses. I still work every day, and it feels like that it's the same, and yet in some bizarre way it's absolutely different. Nothing is the same. In general, I feel very, very fortunate. I live in a country where we have universal health care, so I don't worry that if I do get sick, I won't be able to get the care that I need. I feel very fortunate that we also don't have shortages of food and services are available. I'm grateful to be in my tiny house. I feel like I am secure and protected here. It's not a big space, but it feels like a very safe space. Sophie, please don't start licking yourself again. Yes, I mean you. My company has sent everybody home, and we are mandated to work from home at least until the end of April, so we can't even go into the office without special permission. So it's been nice to have everything set up here and be able to do that. I found that the tiny house is working really well for something like this. It's not a big space, and yet it feels big. Having all of the windows and having that light has made a big difference. It's been a little frustrating because the weather's been cold and it has snowed a lot, and so I haven't had the sunny days that I think would make things easier and make the days pass a little easier. But even so, with this many windows, the house feels big and not small, so I don't feel claustrophobic. Having a big fridge and having a lot of cupboard space has allowed me to make sure that I can stock up on what I need and not have to go to the shops more than once a week, or unless I absolutely need something. One of the things that I've really struggled with is not seeing my friends and my sons. Not having that physical interaction has been the biggest challenge. It's interesting that the challenges that I've had through this, and I'm sure will continue to have, and I know I'm not unique in it, have not been physical challenges. They've not been challenges of not being able to find enough toilet paper or have enough space. They've been challenges of not being able to interact with other human beings, which surprised me because I'm an introvert and I recharge, I get my energy from being by myself. So I thought that I would be able to ride this out a little easier, and that has been humbling because there are days when I really struggle with not seeing people face to face and not being able to hug my sons and my friends. But I've been following the rules and making sure to stay 6 feet away from anybody when I do go out, and trying to keep myself busy. I'm grateful that I have a big kitchen because I have been doing a lot of baking and mostly dropping it off to my sons. But even that is strange because it doesn't seem right not being able to hand something to somebody. I mean, I'm grateful that I can at least see them, but that's really weird. People don't look you in the eye all of a sudden. At the end of every day when I'm done work, I go for a long walk. But when you pass people on the pathways now, they don't look you in the eye and smile. Nobody says hello. It's so odd. And I miss that too. I miss striking up a conversation in a lineup at Home Depot or a coffee shop. It's odd. It's like people are afraid to be near you, which I understand, but they're also afraid to look at you and say hello from a distance. It makes you feel isolated even when you are around other people. I've been trying to stay busy in the tiny house. I bought a guitar. I've always wanted to learn to play guitar, and I am teaching myself badly how to play guitar. Thank goodness for YouTube videos, because you can learn pretty much anything on there. And my older son Keaton has actually been helping me as well, because he plays. So I've been enjoying that, and that's something to pass the time when you don't want to watch another YouTube video or another Netflix show. Having said that, thank goodness for Netflix, because I've been binge watching shows. I just started watching Shameless, which has been a lot of fun. I have been doing yoga in the tiny house and stretching, and I do that in my living room here. I just move my coffee table and my rug, and I roll up my yoga mat, and it works really well. So I'm able to get a little bit of exercise there. I miss going to a class and being around other people. And even though my yoga studio is offering free classes online through Zoom, it's not quite the same. And I think that's probably the theme for this, isn't it? That even when you can do the things that you did before, they're not quite the same. I've tried to take this time to do some things around the house, some little things that I've wanted to do. I built my fold-down breakfast bar, which is working really well, and yesterday I worked on the bookshelves. Now that I've done that, I've run out of projects. I need to think of something else to do. And really, I think that's the biggest challenge. You're always thinking about how you're going to fill your time. I've been really grateful to my friends and my family for reaching out and making sure that I'm okay, and I have only the cat for company. Another thing that surprised me is how much anxiety I'm feeling through all of this, and how that's creeping into my day. When I'm working on a project or when I'm working at work, I can forget about it, and it feels like just any other day. And then I'll lift my head up, and it will hit me that we're going through a pandemic, and that people are getting sick and dying, and families are losing loved ones. And then I think about my family and what would happen if one of them got sick, and how I can't protect the people I love. I love being in my tiny house and being self-sufficient, but I think we all need to remember, I certainly need to remember, that it's okay to need somebody, and it's okay to ask for help and reach out. And even though they can't come over and give you a hug, they can still tell you they love you, and you can feel like you're not all by yourself. Sometimes I feel angry, and I feel like I'm the only one who does. So I'd be curious to know if anybody else feels that. Am I the only one who's having a hard time getting motivated? Like, I struggle sometimes to even just concentrate on work during the day. People talk about how they're using this time and taking advantage of this time and making the best of this time, and it feels like I'm failing sometimes when I see all of this, and I want to call bullshit on it. Like, are these people really? And if you are, you have my admiration, and if you're not, I think we all need to be okay with that. We need to be okay with not being okay. We need to be okay with being afraid, with being anxious, with being lonely, and with being unmotivated. I try, and I think it's important to keep trying, and some days I succeed, and some days I don't. And I've decided that that's okay. I'm going to be kind to myself. So maybe that's the moral, is this is teaching us what matters. It's humbling everybody and making us aware that we're not able to push through everything, and that some days you just have to be kind to yourself. The tiny house has been working out really well. I'm grateful to be here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Everything's been working really well, and it's given me a perspective on how self-sufficient I can be in here. The strange thing about all of this is that we're all going through it together. Like, we're literally all going through it together. Every country, every city is going through the same thing. We're having different experiences depending on where we're living, but we're dealing with the same thing. And that is truly unique and comforting in some ways. I'd like to know how you're making out. Stay safe and stay well and stay home.